morning. So this is the first edition of doing some home program or mat classes that I'd like to send you every day, especially during this time when I think it's so important for us to take care of our bodies and keep our immune systems healthy, to keep our spirits up, and to just keep us in a healthy state of mind. So what you'll need is a ball. If you don't have a ball, I think I gave everybody a ball for Christmas, but if you don't have a ball, you could use a towel and just use a towel underneath your low back and create just a kind of a soft but lifted surface so your body, when it moves, has something specific to move around. If you don't have a magic circle, which not everybody does, you could use like a pillow, I think would be great. Or if you have a ball around your house, any kind of ball, whether it's like a basketball, a play ball of some sort, but pillows work perfectly fine as well. And then if you have a strap, that would be great. If you don't have a strap, let me know and I can see if I can locate one for you. So what we're gonna start with today is just some simple things. I'm not gonna use a ton of props to give you a couple days to gather your props together, or at least a full day to gather your props together. And again, reach out to me if you need props and I can help you see if the props are the right size. You know, we can FaceTime each other or we can call into each other and make it the best for you. All right, so the first thing is let's lie back on our backs. And I'm in my garage, so it's a little chilly, so I'm gonna keep my sweatshirt on. So hands on the pelvis, and we're going to just move the pelvis back and forward, and back and forward. And for the moment, focus more on the movement, not even so much kind of the breathing, not so much am I doing it right, am I doing it wrong, just more the tipping of the pelvis back and forth. And my hands are here, so with the video camera you can see a little bit more clearly that I'm tipping my pelvis in both directions. Posterior, or towards my head, 12 o'clock as some would say, and down to my feet, or 6 o'clock. And just keep going. All right, now let's link the breath. Exhale as you flatten the back and go up towards your 12 o'clock, towards your head. Inhale as you come through neutral. 6 o'clock as you reach down for your feet. So you'll start to notice, especially if you just woke up, and this is kind of your first movement of the day, some stiffness across your back, and we're kind of cleaning out that stiffness. Inhale through the middle. Exhale as we tip backwards. Couple more each. Last one. Good, and then coming back to center. So I'm very clear with myself and my body that center isn't flat, nor is it arched. So I'm not 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock, but I'm right in the middle. And this neutral position is an important one as we continue with our mat exercises, because often you want to start in neutral, know what neutral from the belly button down to your hip bones feels like, and we reference it often. So start getting familiar with this position. A lot of people think neutral should be really easy, and it's not. It's a position where your body actually is engaging and having to kind of maintain and hold a particular posture. So while it's not easy, it shouldn't hurt, and it will start to feel much more natural. So this sensation of, oh, I've got this muscle tone on, my back muscles working ever so slightly, my intrinsic core muscles are working, that's gonna start to feel more and more natural every time you do this. Okay, so now we're taking this neutral position, meaning kind of flat across the front of my hips and my ribs, and we're gonna tilt it. So my ribs are gonna stay still, but I'm gonna tilt my neutral to the left. So the image often is, if this were a bowl of water, I'm going to pour the water off my left hip bone. And I'm gonna do that not by using my back muscles, not by using my feet, but by using my abdominal muscles, which are my obliques that live deep inside, and then I tip my pelvis back to center. There's that neutral position again. Then I tip it to the right, and I bring it back to neutral, and I tip it to the left, and I bring it back to neutral, and I tip it to the right, and I bring it back to neutral. So I'm going to exhale as I tip, inhale as I come to the middle, exhale as I tip, inhale as I come to the middle, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale to neutral. And now I've felt the 4 cardinal positions, if you will. So like the very top, or 12 o'clock, north as my teacher would say. Then we've got the hip bone, right, going east, south, pubic bone, and west. So we're going around the world now. So we're going to not only touch those cardinal positions with our movement, but we're going to link the places in between them. So we're going to curl towards the head, roll the pelvis to the left, lengthen the tail towards the floor. So here's your 6 o'clock. Coming over to the right, and then curling back up towards your head. Over to the left, down to your tail, over to the right, and curling towards the head. One more time, and let's add the breath. So we'll inhale the first portion of the circle. Exhale the second, and then come to center. Now we're going to go around 3 times to the right. So inhaling here, exhale as you curl. Inhale as we start off to the right, reaching down to the tail. Exhale as we sweep around to the left and bring it back up. Notice my knees are moving a tiny bit, but I'm not really swaying my legs at all. It's all the deep abdominal musculature combined with the deep back musculature that is making this movement happen. And one more time, to the right, down to the tail, over to the left, and curl. And then pause in the middle. So I'm kind of stiff this morning, so this is feeling really, really good and really necessary. And I try to do this practice every morning. Okay, so now we're going to do the sits bone reaches. I absolutely love these because they feel so good on my back muscles. If any of this is hurting you, do everything on a very small scale. Scale everything back, and if it still is bothering you, then definitely stop right away and reach out to me immediately. But I think these are all safe exercises that we often do together, especially during our private and duet classes, small group classes, and in the Pilates Mat Class that I teach. Okay, so the next thing is the sits bone reach. So sits bone are the bones that you sit on, and you're going to reach that sits bone towards the same heel. So I'm reaching my right sits bone towards my right heel and getting a huge lengthening on my right hip, my low back, my abdomen, big, big, big stretch. And then I bring it back to center. And I stretch on the left side, feeling a lengthening on that left, and elongating and breathing, and then come back to center. And a lengthening on my right, reach, and come back to center. And a lengthening on my left, and bring it back to center. So now we're adding the breathing. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, 2 more, exhale, inhale, last one, exhale, and inhale. Good. So from here, let's just hug the knees into the chest. And I know we're moving quite slowly this morning, but this is a way for you to just get accustomed to doing some of the mat work if you're not particularly a mat person, and getting in the practice of doing things and feeling things for yourself when I'm not there, and just letting yourself be guided by my voice and the video. Okay, so next we're going to take the ball or your pillows. You You could even use like shoes, anything to place between your inner thighs. I have slippers over there. I could put them here, right? As a matter of fact, maybe I'll get up and show you what that would look like. It would look kind of silly, but it might, kind of do the trick. So when you are setting yourself up for bridge, your arms are going to rest down by your sides, and you want to feel that your sits bones and heels are in line with each other. Your feet aren't out. Your feet aren't together with your knees wide. Rather, you want to feel that your sits bones, your butt, and your heels are in a straight line with each other. And then you also want to make sure that you're really putting pressure into the mound of the big toe and the whole footbed. So often we're just eager to get up, but really it's the bones of the feet pushing down that really recruit the hamstrings. So there's that isometric contraction. Once you've got the bones of the feet really recruited, you should already feel your hamstrings engage, which is a bonus. Then you're going to squeeze those inner thighs into whatever object you have. I have the ball. So I'm applying downward pressure with my feet, narrowing pressure with my inner thighs, and now I'm going to take my pelvis from neutral and flatten it to that 12 o'clock. And using my deep abdominals and my breathing, I'm going to inhale, exhale, keep pushing down through my feet, curling my pubic bone towards the ceiling, and I can feel my hamstrings wanting to cramp, but I'm pushing my feet down. I'm coming up one vertebra at a time, inhaling at the top as I keep squeezing the ball, and exhale, rolling down one vertebra at a time. And as I do this, I'm really using my abdominals to stretch out and open up my low back, so I'm not coming down in a chunk. I'm really stretching and rolling down one pearl at a time, as they say in the Pilates repertoire. So you're really coming vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. It's called articulation. Inhale at the bottom. As you exhale, you squeeze. You press the feet down, recruiting those hamstrings. Engage your deep abdominals, engaging the pelvic floor, feeling the tone across that abdomen. And gently curling the pubic bone towards your ceiling as you press the bones of the feet down and come up. Keep those feet pressing down. So it's the whole surface of the foot. It's not just the toes, it's not just the heels. And you'll notice that some parts of your feet you have more sensory awareness and connection to, and other parts of your feet feel very foreign, like it's hard to even access them. Inhaling at the top, exhale and roll down. All right, we're going to add on. Reach your fingertips straight up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, deep abdominals. Go for that 12 o'clock with a deep abdominal engagement, the co-contraction. Curl the pubic bone up. Press the bones of the feet down. You're going to inhale and float your arms overhead. Don't shrug your shoulders up to the ears, but rather keep your shoulders down towards your hips. So you're really just moving your arms. See if you can come up into your bridge a tiny bit higher, really getting those feet to press. And then with your arms reaching towards the back wall, you're going to roll down and stretch your whole back body, rolling down one vertebra at a time. It's a really lovely back stretch, all the way to neutral. And then draw the shoulder blades down to float those arms back up. 2 more times. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, curl the pubic bone up. Inhaling at the top. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, float those arms up. Exhale, bridging up. Inhaling at the top as you float those arms overhead. And exhale, rolling down. 1 vertebra at a time, and then bring those arms up. Next exercise, still in the bridging family, we're going to bridge up. This time we're going to call it a neutral bridge. So instead of rolling 1 vertebra at a time, imagine you're lying on a wooden plank or board, and as you exhale, you're going to lift your body up in one piece. You're going to maintain that, press down into your right foot, and kick that left shin forward. Your hips should not have moved, right? So no dipping. Your back muscles did not pop your spine up. You're maintaining everything the same and just isolating the downside. So I'm really pressing down to support myself using my core muscles and that right leg that's pressing down, and then I bring it down and I change. Left leg pressing down as I'm activating my core and change. If you're looking for more advanced, your arms reach overhead and change, or straight up to the sky. So it's either here or here, but no matter what, your legs are alternating and they're working hard. That ball is helping. Exhale. 3 more each side. Inhale down, exhale, reach. Inhale down, exhale, reach. 2 more each side. Shoulders are melting away from the ears. Abdominals are engaging, lifting your pelvic bowl. 1 more on the right. Here we go. 1 more on the left. Press both feet down and roll down. 1 vertebra at a time. Okay. Move the ball out of the way. Your inner thighs hopefully got a good little workout. Widen your feet, widen your knees, open your arms out to a T with the palms up. You're going to sway over to your left while your head tips over to the right. Coming back up. And change going the other way. This is called Windshield Wiper. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Couple more. You can go as fast or slow as you'd like, and you can rest as long or as short as you would like. I'm just going to go with this pace. Perfect. So for the next exercise, I encourage you to grab your strap. If you do not have a strap, you could use a towel, like a nice long towel. Straightening the bottom leg is an option. If you have low back or sacroiliac issues, SI issues, then you're going to want to go ahead and keep the sole of the foot flat until you become more stable across the SI joint, and or you feel more confident doing this exercise. So you're going to grab a towel or a strap, and we're going to do some leg circles. I'm going to keep my leg long. So you're going to cross the midline. If you have a hip replacement, you do not cross the hip line. You keep your leg in a vertical position, and you go down, out, around, and up. Again, healthy hips, in other words, no replaced parts. You're going to bring it across, down, out, around, and up. Hip replacements, you're doing yourself a huge service by staying right in line and circling that leg across. So inhale, exhale, to bring that leg around. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 4 more. Inhale, exhale. 3 more. 2 more. The whole goal of this exercise, in addition to getting a great leg stretch, is to keep your hips very stable. Last one, and bringing it up. So as you're circling the leg around, so I'll just do kind of a quick little tutorial without the strap. As you're circling your leg around, you don't want your hips to tip. There is a variation, a very advanced Pilates variation, where you really do go around and across, and you consciously use your abdomen to really roll yourself back to that neutral. But in this variation, I really encourage us to practice keeping the pelvis super, super stable. So you're pulling up through the deep abdominals, you're connecting the pelvic floor to the deep abdominal cavity, which then stabilizes the whole spinal column and hips. You're bringing the leg across without letting this left hip leave the mat. It stays nice and anchored. And then as you circle the leg, the weight of that left leg swinging around is going to want to lift that right hip off. So you want to tell that right hip to stay down onto the mat, using your abdominals and making your range of motion smaller. So maybe keep it really small at first. You can hear my hip pop. And then as your musculature is stronger and you have a little more flexibility and you're not holding on to any stiffness or tightness, you certainly can make your movements bigger. sequence again. So now that we've kind of got the tutorial, we've got the information, and we're going to go in both directions. So the right leg first, and I didn't use a strap in the last one so you could see what I was doing, but I encourage you to use a strap, especially if you're not used to doing this exercise regularly. Okay, so we're going to bring it across on the inhale, exhale, 8 each way. 2 more. Last one. Now we go the other way. So we open, circle down, out, across and up. Inhale, open. 2, 3. Again, if you have a hip replacement, you don't cross the midline, you just come straight up. 4, 5, 6. Keep that bowl of water from earlier nice and stable. 7, 8. I'm not doing a very good job, I can feel, because I'm very tight. Okay, so now I'm going to take the strap. Same exercise on my left side. Each leg obviously is so uniquely different from each other that sometimes my range of motion is so drastically different on one side than from the other side. So that's something we want to pay attention to and honor as well. All right, so I'm going to start my left going across to my right, circle down, out, around and up. Six, 2 more. 7, 8. Okay, other way. Open out, around, across and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shoulders are down. Last one, 8. And bring that in. Nice. I like the green strap. I feel like it's just the right amount of tension. The ones that are too thick, I feel like I'm struggling with my arms too much, and it puts way too much tension in my shoulder girdle, taking it away and kind of distracting from the legs. Too light of tension, a yellow is a very light one. If you happen to have that, don't use it. I don't recommend it unless, then I think you might as well just not use one at all, which that's certainly an option. But green or blue that has some good elasticity is the perfect flexibility for that exercise. All right, so now that we've kind of stretched out through the pelvis, we've stretched out the legs, we've stretched out the link between the legs and the pelvis, because they so intrinsically kind of pull on each other, because obviously they're connected and they really rely on each other for stability and mobility. So we've warmed all that up, so now we're going to be able to do some of our deeper abdominal exercises because your core is ready. All right, so you're going to activate your deep pelvic floor. I think of the elevator doors of the deep pelvic floor narrowing closed, pulling up into the abdominal cavity. You're going to remember what neutral feels like, so you're not flattening your back or arching your back. You're going to keep your hips and feet in line with each other, so we're not skewing the leg alignment. And right now you're going to reach your fingertips up to the ceiling, just gently interlace your hands, your fingers, and place them at the base of your skull. So this is just as basic as they come. So now in this position, I'm actually going to ask you to squeeze your feet, your thighs and knees together. So as best as you can. I have a little bit of bunions on both my feet, so my ankles don't necessarily touch, but they're as close as they can be. I'm going to take a nice big inhale into the area across my ribs, on the sides of my body, and into the back of my body, trying to not swell my abdomen, but rather really pressing back into the mat with my breath. And as I exhale, I'm going to engage my abdominals, pulling up through my pelvic floor and core, and I'm going to curl up. And my curl is really just at my rib cage. So I'm feeling a nice stretch across my mid and upper back. And then I inhale and lie back down. And I exhale again. Inhale, lie back down. So this is a great one cue kind of the bra strap or heart rate monitor so that that's exactly the location that you are creating the movement from. Notice my pelvis isn't tucking, my pelvis is staying still, and just my ribs are doing the curling. So let's do 3 more with just the mat, and then we're gonna add the ball. You can grab a towel, 2 more, and last one, and then you'll come down. All right, so you're gonna grab the ball. If you're using a pillow, now would be a time to kind of roll up the pillow so it looks more like a log, a small log. The ball works perfectly. Foam rollers also really work, but they're just really tough. So if you want to pad that foam roller with a couple of towels just to soften the surface, I recommend it. But your height of your movement is going to be much higher than mine because the foam roller doesn't have as much give as this thing. Okay, so I'm going to put the ball right at my bra strap. I'm going to squeeze my legs together again. So it's the same exercise, much bigger range of motion. And same principle applies. From my navel and below, I'm not flattening and arching my back. I'm holding a neutral spine, which that strength helps me find my strength up here where I'm wanting to practice mobility. So stability, mobility. They often play on each other and they need each other for the body to function really well. So this is a great exercise for us to do that. So we're going to inhale as we go back, so you can see much bigger range of motion. Exhale, instead of just popping your head up, really press your musculature of your ribs back into your rib cage so that you press those ribs into the ball and you curl up. Be careful not to lead with your head, but really move from that rib cage, heart rate monitor, bra strap area. So inhale, exhale. Curling up. And I'm also really feeling my lower abdominals working hard to maintain my hips and my pelvis really stable because my pelvis really wants to tuck. So I have to really kind of have that internal discipline in that core musculature to keep it still and focus on my ribs moving. 4 more. Inhale, exhale. 3 more. I love this little series before I do kind of the traditional Pilates Mat series with the scissor kicks and the twist and the corkscrew and all those things because I feel like it really warms up my muscles and then I can really feel those exercises much deeper when I do them. 1 more inhale. Deep abdominals, pelvic floor. All right, so for those of you that are feeling like you want to take it up and make it more challenging, you're going to bring your right leg to tabletop, left leg to tabletop. So here we are, we're challenging our stability. Squeeze the thighs together. You need those hips really stable. You need that pelvic floor and that deep co-contraction to keep your pelvis in neutral as you start moving your ribs because your rib motion going back and forth needs all that strength from the stability of that pelvis to keep you in your position. Inhale to go back. Exhale. Curling forward. Inhale, going back. Exhale, curling forward. Remember, don't tuck your tail. Have the discipline inside your body to keep the pelvic bowl really stable. Even though it's in this dynamic position. 3 more. Inhale, going back. Deep abdominals and pelvic floor, staying nice and stable with those hips so you can really put that attention on that rib curl. And it's amazing how we feel it all the way down to our lower abs, even though we would think we would feel it right across our ribs. 2 more. Oh, I'm starting to shake. Last one. Okay. Whew. All right, so now we're ready for the abdominal series. So we're going to roll over to one side. And we're going to lie back and do the abdominal series. So this one flows from one exercise into another. We're gonna do 8 of each thing. With the scissor kicks, we'll do 8 on each side, so we'll actually do 16. And I encourage you to challenge yourself. If you can't get through all of them now because you start to feel tired or sore, your back hurts, don't push through, but have that be a goal then, so that you want to get to the point where, oh yeah, I can definitely do these, and just work through them and have it be one exercise into another, and that your body has the endurance, the muscular endurance, to flow through this little sequence, okay? So we're gonna roll back. Osteoporosis, osteopenia, you're not gonna roll back. You're going to lie on your side, and you lie right back. All right. So interlace your fingers at the base of the skull, right and left leg to tabletop to start. So we're going to inhale. As we exhale, we're going to curl up. All right, so first, just that quick little warm up. Inhale, going back. Exhale. 1. Think of the bra strap area. 2. Keep the pelvic floor nice and stable. 3. 4. 5. All right. 6. We're getting there. I can feel myself shaking already. 7. Last one. 8. Okay, so traditional, very traditional Pilates. Right hand to the outside, left hand to the inner knee, and I've got my right knee pulled in, and then I'm going to change. All right, so for most of you, your neck starts to bother you after the first few. So I'd like for you to keep this position, but just interlace your fingers at the base of the skull and really focus on that exhale. And one more each side. Good, come down, pause a moment, inhale, as you know, moment's over. All right, so now we're gonna gently nod our head and curl up. If you wanna support your head and keep your head supported, it's okay with me. Otherwise, traditional, arms are reaching for your legs. You're going up, we're gonna scissor kick. So again, traditional is pulse, pulse, change. Scissor kicks with the twist. Again, you're welcome to have your hands set at the base of your skull. So to set yourself up, engage your core, interlace your fingers at the base of the skull, gently curl up, right and left leg to tabletop, straight legs to the sky. So now we're in our scissor kick, and we're gonna twist, twist, change, twist, twist, change. And notice the pulsation is really of me pulling my leg in using my abs, not my quad. 4 more each side. 3 more. The down leg doesn't go very far because I need to keep it in control so I can use it to help my abs. Last one, last side. And then I come down. Rest a moment. Abs should definitely be feeling it right now. Very last exercise, double leg lowers. Interlace your fingers at the base of the skull. Right leg and left leg tabletop. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, first nod your head. Curl up with your upper body. And we've got our legs up in a turnout, very traditional. We go down. You don't have to go very far. You're just pulling up with those abs. Good, 7 more like that. 7, stay curled up out of your neck. 6, 5, you really put attention on those low abs. 4, even though those ribs are really engaging, feel the low abs pulling those legs in. 2 more. 2, last one. 1. Ooh. That is intense. Okay, so we're gonna roll over to one side. Come on up to a seated position. Okay, this is first thing in the morning. You can tell I've got like my morning hair going no makeup on. This is as authentic and Odile just the way she is as it comes. Okay, so I like to do some side bends after I do a lot of abdominal work. I feel like it really opens up not only the front of my body, but the side of my body. So we're gonna do a nice big side bend over to the left. And take pleasure in this, you know, kind of relax, especially the left hand, left shoulder, reaching through the right arm. There's an ease in your body that we're going for. Inhale, coming up, other side. Feeling my shoulders relax, really stretching all the cobwebs of my ribs out, coming up, and then let's change the cross of the legs. And let's initiate to the right this time. Reach. Deep abdominals and pelvic floor working. And over to the other side. Good, and come on up. All right, so I do want to do a little bit of abdominals, but being on the stomach and really working some of the back tissue and lengthening some of the front of the body, which really helps to bring those abdominals back into their most natural, most responsive place so that they can really become part of your postural network rather than always using them just for crunches, right? We really are using them for our intrinsic musculature and for our posture. Okay, so you're gonna lie on your stomach. Stacking your hands, one on top of the other, laying your forehead on top of your hands. And we're just gonna lift the legs first. So I'm gonna take my right leg and I'm gonna lift it just a couple of inches up off of the mat, kind of stretching it towards the back of the room, and then up with my left leg and bringing it down. So I'm stretching it towards the back of the room. So from this position, I wanna just place my hands right onto the mat next to, or right directly under my shoulders. So I'm gonna keep my abdominals engaged, scooping in and up with my core. And then I'm gonna press into my palms, roll my shoulders back, and come up. So I inhale up at the top, and I exhale as I come down. Inhale down at the bottom, exhale, press, scooping my abdominals in, rolling my shoulders back, opening up, and coming down. So the goal here isn't to come high. The goal is to make sure that the pubic bone is anchored into the mat, the abdominals are active, and then as I come up, I'm actually bringing my ribs with me. My eyes aren't even looking forward. My eyes are looking just towards the very top of my mat. I'm working my hands, my triceps are working quite a bit, my shoulders are rolled back, and then I come down. One cue I really love is imagine you're kind of watching a little critter or a little cute ant walk away. So as I'm coming up, I'm slowly watching and elongating the front of my body along that line. And then as I come down, rather than coming down, I think about lengthening down towards the top of my mat. It just really encourages length. Inhale, exhale, press into the palms, rolling the shoulders back, coming up, inhale, exhale, and slowly coming down. We're gonna do two more. Inhale, exhale, roll your shoulders back. Elbows are also angled back, pubic bone pressing down, scooping your abdominals in, floating the chest. Inhale, exhale, coming down. Last time. Maintaining connection, feeling from my pelvic floor and my deep abdominals all the way to my crown of my head. I'm one long piece, and then I'm coming all the way down. Okay, that one is surprisingly a lot of arms, which we will talk about arms another time. But as long as the front of that body was getting that nice kind of elasticity, that taffy-like stretch, perfectly happy with that. Okay, so now we're going to stretch and connect to the legs and how they can positively strengthen the core and not alter the shape of the back. That's why I'm pointing to this area. So I'm going to anchor my pubic bone down into my mat, and I'm going to lift my left leg up off of the mat as my pubic bone stays anchored down. And then I bring that down and change. And bring it down and change. And bring it down and change. Okay, so now we're going to go a little bit faster. It's a flutter kick. And I'm really emphasizing the abdominal staying connected, the pubic bone staying anchored down, so I can feel my abdominal cavity pulling in towards my body away from the mat as I'm just gently kind of doing a swimming stroke. So just up, down, as if I was on a paddle board and I was just doing simple kicking legs. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. It's half of the swimming exercise, but it's a great way to start really paying attention to my legs really affect my back unless I pay attention and engage my core. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Good, and come on down. Okay, we're going to press up onto all fours. You're going to round your back. When you round your back here, I want you to curl your tailbone under. So we're not just pushing across the shoulder blades, but I'm really wanting to isolate and stretch that area right across my low back here, right around the lumbar, where we tend to have the most stiffness and tightness for a majority of us. Curl and bring it back through the middle, and then gently arch and bring it back through the middle, and curl, arch. 2 more. Last one. All right, and then just take a moment to sit back in child's pose and stretch that out. And then in this child's pose, walk your hands over to the right side of your mat so that left arm is really stretching off to the left side, getting a nice big stretch across the left rib cage. And coming over to the right, over to the left, stretching with that right arm. And come back to the center. So if child's pose does not feel good for you, if you are still in child's pose, stay in child's pose. And if it feels good, if it does not feel good for you, I encourage you to lie back on your back and hug your knees to your chest. And you just gently rock from side to side. The other thing you can do, because we were kind of doing that stretchy thing, was you can extend one leg and really reach. And then take the other leg, extend it, hug that first knee in, and reach. You need just to keep doing that several times so you kind of get the benefit of child's pose and full extension. Right? And reach. And bring it back in. All right. So I think that's it for today. I think we covered a lot of really good, definitely basics. I know for some of you this is going to feel quite simple, but I think often for me it's the basics that kind of return me back to my center, and then I build on that throughout the day. So I like this as a foundation. I think this was a great foundation of connecting with the core, feeling neutral, knowing neutral in all the different positions that we were in, whether we had something behind our back or whether we were on our stomach. We did a little bit of side bending. We didn't do a lot of twisting today, but that's going to be coming every day. We'll include more ranges of motion, some different exercises, and definitely we'll be repeating some of the goodies and then adding on. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you are doing your daily practice and taking good care of yourself. Have a wonderful day.